Let's talk one of everybody's favorite topics, which is taxes. In Crosstracks, you have the ability to set a tax rate for various scenarios. Let's say you have a state tax rate, you have a county tax rate, you have different services that may be taxed at different rates. All of those scenarios can be covered in the tax rate settings, which really gives you the benefit of having control to navigate any tax situation, regardless of its complexity. The first thing to get started is to click on settings, and then over in the billing and invoice section here, the bottom you see tax rate. You click on that. Here you have the ability to add tax rates and also view the current tax rates that you have in the system. Here you have the name of the rate, the amount of the rate. Here you can edit. I'm going to click on and edit this Florida sales tax rate. And that you can just simply change the name. I'm going to click cancel here to change the title, as I want to keep that the same. If you want to add a tax rate, and let's say you have a city tax, you can go in and add the city tax, and you can also add the rate. Now, how does that apply to your cases? Once you get your tax rates in here, you can add them, as I mentioned here. Now, how do you apply these tax rates to your billing? You're going to go to a case, click on the Billing and Expenses tab. You're going to see a list of items that you have, whether they're invoice items or expense items. You'll be able to go here. You'll see we have a list of our invoice and expense items. If you want to add a tax rate, or if you want to add multiple tax rates, you can add that, as I mentioned previously, for each case. So let's say this particular item is taxed at 7.5% and this service may be taxed at 6%. If you want to edit these, if a invoice or expense item is in an approved status, you're not able to edit it at all. But I'm going to change this one to back to pending, and then I'm going to have to refresh the screen. So if you're unable to edit, just refresh, and you'll bring back, and you'll see now that I have this in pending status. I could go into this particular item, click on edit, and at that point, I'll be able to change the tax rate to any one that is in my tax rate list. If you have expense items that you need to charge sales tax for, you can do that as well when you're adding those. So when you're adding a new expense item, you can go and put the cost in, click the tax rate. If you want to upload a receipt or describe what that is, you can do that while you're adding as well. Let's take a quick look and see how this tax rate is calculated on an invoice. I approved these 4 items. I'm going to click on Generate Invoice. And as you can view here, the tax rate has been calculated accordingly and is $69.45. So just to recap, if you click on Settings and go to the Billing and Invoices area, click on Tax Rate, and that will take you to your tax rate list. If you want to add tax rates to certain items, whether they're invoice or expense items, you can do that here. If you have invoice or expense items that you want to add tax rates to at a later time, you go to your billing items list, and here you can edit any invoice or expense item that is in a pending status. If it's in an approved status, just change it back to pending and refresh your screen.